of a corporate structure there. You work your way up in the Federalist Society. That's an imprimatur that gets you through the door, as opposed to what it really should be. It should be completely toxic. But what happened with the ACS is that became toxic. And then it was a liability for you to be associated with the ACS in the same way that they were successful in doing that with the ACLU. And that's how how Dabo got rejected from the civil rights division of the DOJ. Yep. They are able to take left-wing institutions, be they as they may,
even when they're not left-wing.
That's what I'm saying. Like ostensibly left-wing institutions, and make them toxic. And so they have successfully undermined. And I know we're getting far afield here, but this is one of my sort of favorite topics, so people will indulge me. They have undermined the ability for the left to even have structures in which to inject personnel, particularly in this instance, judges. But I mean, I think we have that deficit. I think broadly speaking, there is no left-wing cap, because they're not going to take money from Dubai or whatever it is to build the institution that you need to feed these organizations. I mean, I'm curious. I've spoken to Brian Fallon, who is one of the most interesting figures in my mind coming out of the Obama administration, because he has set up an organization, and they're one of their first proclamations. And I have no real way of assessing, how deep this runs, but was no more corporate lawyers as judicial picks. And his organization is trying to build a list and trying to get there. And he was out of the Obama administration. I think he saw what went down and was not happy with it. And I just saw him tweet something to the effect of defund the police. And I was like, that
coming out of Obama, that's big. Brian Fallon, I'm gonna have to look him up.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, you should check into that. All right. So here is where we would normally go into the fun half, but what we're going to do, which is, just as dismal as the first half of these days. But we're going to make this a freebie Friday. Matt, I am going to do the post roll now, just because I know I'll forget it. And maybe we can bump it, cut it into the post in the show. Is that okay?
Gotcha. Yep.
All right. So if you'll forgive me, Shahid, I failed to mention this the other day. Do you have a dog?
I do not have a dog, no.
Well, have you a dog? An Embark breed and health test would be the key to unlocking your dog's unique breed mix and genetically informed health needs. It can identify over 350 breeds, and that's, fun for a dog owner to know, oh, my dog's part, Cocker Spaniel. I had no idea. The dog is huge.
It's like 23andMe for dogs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the big thing is that it screens for 175 genetic health conditions. And a lot of times people have dogs. They don't realize that there's enough of a breed in there that they're susceptible to hip problems or to certain diseases. And you can go, your vet can assess it. You take that and you can learn what kind of diet, et cetera, et cetera. I'm dealing with a diabetic cat. I wish I had known that there was a propensity, but I didn't. And so folks can go to embarkvet.com now. And this is obviously for dogs. Embarkvet.com now. Use the promo code majority to get $50 off your dog breed and health kit. That's embarkvet.com with code majority for $50 off your dog breed and health kit. We will put that link and the link to Storyworth and the one to the CBD, to Sunset Lake CBD, in our description of the podcast and the YouTube. And do we have Jamie? Can we bring Jamie on? Do you know Jamie is host of the Antifada?
She's not here yet, actually.
Oh, she's not? Okay. Well, hopefully Jamie will jump in. And you were making this point that we're seeing this authoritarianism from Donald Trump. And in the wake of his election and in the run up to his election, I was talking a lot about this guy, Bob Altemeyer, who I tried to have on. He was the one from Canada who had written extensively and was actually the basis of the research that John Dean was doing when he wrote his, I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was the follow-up to the Conscience of a Conservative. And Altemeyer had done research suggesting that 25% of North Americans are right-wing authoritarians. He was, it was a psychological analysis. They had run a lot of, he was a professor of psychology at the University of Manitoba. They had run a lot of clinical trials and research over the course of like 25 years and had come up with that assessment. And he also argued that there is a left-wing authoritarianism, but it's much smaller. It's just, it's just a much smaller phenomena. But this 25% of North Americans, tracks pretty closely with the assessment that Donald Trump has, that I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and not lose any support. And even George Bush, who was a dismal failure by the time he left office. I mean, I would argue he was a dismal failure throughout, but never dipped below 32%. I think it was 35% approval rating.
Well, now you have centrist Democrats praising him as if he was some kind of icon because he's not as bad as Trump, I guess.
Exactly. And when you see stuff like Cuomo and de Blasio come out and let's which one is best to play? Is it clip number 4, do you think, Brendan?
They're all good. I would say 4 is the most immediate.
Let's start with Cuomo, number 3. Cuomo's talking about how stunned he is at the disrespect that protesters are showing police officers. Now, by anybody's understanding, police officers, you would think day one, they get into the academy and their trainer says, what I'm going to teach you on day one is how to deal with people who are going to be disrespectful to you, because that's the nature of the job. But here is Andrew Cuomo say he's stunned by it.
They've treated police officers with such disrespect in New York City that I am stunned. I've never seen that level of disrespect to a police officer. Now, I come from a different time and place, but a police officer, you wouldn't dare disrespect a police officer. But this is at a level that is just inappropriate, unconscionable. So it's complicated. There is not going to be a simple answer.
All right. First off, not necessarily relevant to the point he's making, but I would bet every single thing I own that this guy's been disrespectful to police throughout his entire life because of his dad was governor, and I've heard stories of him. But put that aside for a moment. Broadly speaking, he's been incredibly disrespectful to the idea of any type of criminal investigation, having shut down the Moreland Commission when they started to investigate him. But putting that aside, this is it's total gaslighting. Let's come back with just play this split screen number 4. This is after he has said he doesn't know of any baton incident in New York, as if he doesn't have a computer or a television set or
a staff to brief him on issues that the rest of us see.
Or any friends. Or
you might not have any friends. That might actually be real.
That's actually possible. Play this clip. This is number 4.
Last night, we all saw videos of New York City police officers who were bludgeoning peaceful protesters.